Welcome to our video of the most expensive lawsuits involving NBA players. Did you know that while the NBA is considered to be one of the most popular and lucrative sports in the world, it can also at times remind us of the legal and financial risks that come with being a professional NBA athlete? For instance, did you know that some of the highest profile NBA stars have faced massive lawsuits in the past, which, needless to say, have greatly impacted the lives and performance of these players on and off the stage? And while some of these lawsuits have been on crimes that are considered more non-personal, let's say other accusations definitely fall in a much more grave personal crime, rape, murder, aggravated assault, and kidnapping, etc. kind of category. That's right. Surprisingly, did you also know that there have been some top NBA players who have sued or countersued these expensive lawsuits as well? Want to know who these players are? If you just thought to yourself or nodded yes, then welcome. In this video, we're about to give you a few examples of the many expensive lawsuits that have involved NBA players over the years. But before that, please do subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. If you have, thanks. Also, please hit the notification bell and the like button if you enjoy this video, as it helps us out a lot. Without any further ado, here are some high-profile, impactful lawsuit cases that have been filed against some of the biggest stars in the league's history. Number 1, LeBron James. If you haven't been living under a rock, you probably know about LeBron James, one of the best players in NBA League today, correct? However, what you might not know is that in 2012, James's smooth career took a tumultuous turn when he was sued by a photographer for $150 million. Yup, you heard that right. But what was the dispute about, you ask? Well, you see, the photographer claimed that James and his business partners had used one of his photos without permission. As a result, a trial was held, and later on the case was dismissed. Whew! But James did face a significant amount of negative publicity as a result of this lawsuit. Guess life can be pretty shocking for billionaires as well, huh? Number 2, Kevin Durant. If photographers suing NBA stars isn't exciting enough news for you, up next, we have another player who was sued by a jeweler, this time instead. Yeah, that's right. Kevin Durant, also one of the best players of the current era, was sued for $30 million in 2017 by a jeweler who claimed that Durant had defaulted on a loan for a diamond necklace. Ouch! Well, that must have been embarrassing for the player to read in the morning paper, and because the lawsuit did not sit well with the player, as a result, Durant eventually countersued. Luckily, the case was settled out of court pretty quickly. Lucky for Durant in this case, but maybe not so lucky for the jeweler, huh? Number 3, Russell Westbrook. Up next, we have Russell Westbrook, one of the most dynamic players in the league, who was neither sued by a photographer or a jeweler. Instead, the accusation against him was a bit more on the grave side and personal side of crimes. The player was actually sued for assault. Yes, that's right. What actually happened was that in 2020, Westbrook was sued for $100 million by a nightclub owner who had claimed that Westbrook assaulted him. And while the case was later dismissed, Westbrook, like James, faced significant negative public backlash as a result. Number 4, J.R. Smith. The lawsuits in the NBA world don't stop there. As a veteran guard, J.R. Smith, in 2016, was accused of assault by a fan. Yeah, a fan. This is even worse than punching a nightclub owner, right? The fan claimed that Smith had punched him during an altercation at a nightclub. Smith was eventually sued for $2.5 million, but like the rest of the cases, this one was also later dismissed, and that was the end of that. Number 5, Charles Barkley. Up next, we have another player in the same category who also had to face an expensive lawsuit due to assault accusations. Yep, we're talking about none other than Charles Barkley. The former NBA star and current commentator for the NBA was sued for $10 million in 2008 by a man who claimed that Barkley had assaulted him in a bar fight. Geez, what's up with NBA players and night bars, right? And surprise, surprise, this case was also later dismissed with Barkley walking out of jail just 5 hours after his arrest on a $6,000 bond. It is also important to note that this is not the player's first bar scuffle or lawsuit case, as he was accused of starting a bar fight in 1992 and had to face a $550,000 lawsuit. Guess Barkley is adamant on not learning from his past mistakes. Number 6. And last but not least, joining in the assault and lawsuit list is the former NBA player Latrell Sprewell. The player was sued for $30 million in 2004 by a man who claimed that Sprewell had assaulted him, but ultimately no action was taken against the player, with the case quietly getting settled outside of court. While all these settlements outside of a courtroom may seem suspicious, just remember the one law that prevails. A person is innocent until proven guilty. So maybe tame down the prejudice and take a deep breath here, okay? We are especially saying this because if all these previous lawsuit stories got your blood boiling, well, the next ones will have your blood pressure shooting out the roof. So calm down and count to 10, all right? Number 7, Kobe Bryant. At number 7, we have Kobe Bryant, another NBA legend, who was sued for a crime definitely more heinous than using someone else's image. That's right, Bryant was sued for $75 million in 2003 by a hotel employee who claimed that Bryant had sexually assaulted her. Bryant, however, claimed his innocence till the end, and due to the inconclusive evidence, the case was ultimately settled. Close acquaintances, however, claimed that the incident caused the player some significant pain and tainted his image and career for the worse, which is a no-brainer to say the least, right? Number 8, Derrick Rose. What happened with Derrick Rose, a former MVP's case, is that the player was sued for $21.5 million in 2016 by a woman who claimed that not only Rose but his friends had raped her as well. If this is true, then there is nothing more vile than that, right? The case went to trial, but Rose was ultimately cleared of all charges. The lawsuit, however, did cause a significant distraction for Rose and his team members during the season, which is quite unfortunate if he did not do the crime, right? And no, it was not just Bryant and Rose who were sued for allegations of sexual assault. Matt Barnes and Jason Kidd also faced similar lawsuits. That leads us to number 9 and 10. Matt Barnes and Jason Kidd. Yep, that's right. Matt Barnes, a former NBA player, was sued for $2 million in 2016 by a woman who claimed that Barnes had physically assaulted her, while Jason Kidd, another former NBA player and current coach in the NBA, joined in the list while he was sued for $10 million in 2012 by another woman with the same claim. And do we really need to say what the outcome was? Yep, you guessed it, right? Both of them cleared. Number 11, Ben Simmons. Up next at number 11, we have Ben Simmons, whose lawsuit takes things even a step further than just physical assault. That's right, Simmons, a rising star in the league, was sued for $25 million in 2020 by a woman who claimed that he had fathered her child and refused to take responsibility. Now that's a real shocker. We bet you did not see that one coming, did you? The case received a lot of coverage and frenzy, which needless to say caused a significant distress and distraction for Simmons during the season. Maybe next time Simmons should focus on one thing: athletic career or love life, right? Number 12, Karl Anthony Towns. Up next at number 12, we have Karl Anthony Towns, one of the most talented young players in the league. The lawsuit concerned with Towns definitely differs from the rest because he was accused of something that no one could have expected. Curious to know what it is yet? Well, here's the reveal. In 2020, Towns was sued by a woman for $30 million who claimed that Towns had transmitted herpes to her. Yeah, that's right. And if you don't know, herpes is a disease that, quote unquote, causes sores or blisters in or around the mouth or genitals alongside other symptoms. The worst part is that even though treatment can help with managing these symptoms, as of now, there is no known cure for the disease. Quite awful, right? Towns was later on investigated and subsequently declared innocent, and that was the end of it. Number 13, Michael Jordan. If you are a diehard NBA fan, you probably know who Michael Jordan is, correct? But it was not Jordan who was sued in a lawsuit. Rather, this time was him doing the suing instead. Yes, that's right. As it happens, Jordan sued a grocery store chain, Dominic's Finer Foods, for $5 million in 2009. Why did he do that? Well, Jordan's lawsuit involved him claiming that the grocery store was both using his name and image without Jordan's permission. This infuriated Jordan, especially because he had a long-standing endorsement deal with a rival grocery store, and as a result, Jordan filed a lawsuit, won the lawsuit, and later on was awarded $8.9 million in damages. And while that may not seem like a lot of money for a billionaire like Jordan, it still isn't exactly chump change either. So woohoo for Jordan, and stores better start taking care and paying attention to who they put in their store windows for their advertisements. So, these are just a few examples of the many lawsuits that have involved NBA players over the years. While these cases were certainly expensive and disruptive for the players involved, they are a reminder of the legal and financial risks that come with being a professional athlete. With that said, what do you think about these lawsuits? Are they really that expensive, and does the damage done make the price justified? And whose lawsuit surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you like to keep yourself updated about the latest news in the football world, NBA news, and upcoming events, like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that notification button as well. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Until then, ciao.